Hey everybody, it's Taylor. All right, I'm gonna share this and we are gonna talk about raising your rates to 10K. How the hell do you do it? Where do you find the people that are ready to pay? How do you know it's gonna work? All that good stuff you're thinking about. So let me share this. If you don't already know me, I'm Taylor Manning and I help leaders of the industry, up and coming leaders of the industry, ambitious women, do things like this: create multiple 5-figure months, their multiple 6-figure year, raise their rates to 10K and more, launch their 50 to 100K group program, all these really, really big things, because they know that they're really good at what they do. They know they're ready for all of this, but they just don't know how, or they really don't know if they're ready, right? So this is just a teeny tiny piece of that, but I really want to talk about this because it comes up every single time someone books a call with me. We talk about this, and it's scary, so I want to talk about it. It's scary, but it's exciting, right? Okay, we're sharing to my group. I think I'm going to share it onto my profile too, on my timeline. If you didn't watch my live stream yesterday about why you should be posting on your personal timeline, your personal profile, go watch that. It's really, really good. I'm sure you're going to like it. So anyway, okay, say hi if you're here. I'm really excited if you're here because this title is How to Raise Your Coaching Rates to 10K and Still Sign Clients. Don't watch if you're not already charging at least 5K. So the only reason I said that was to filter some people out, because there is a point where you are not ready to charge 10K for your coaching. And that's not necessarily if you haven't charged 5K yet. That's not actually the answer. But who I'm really speaking to here are you women who know that you are good at what you do. You've already had clients. They're getting results. You're getting results. And you have in the back of your mind that you want to raise your rates. Probably a lot of you it is 10K. Some of you it might be 8K. Some of you it might be 12, 15. Who knows, maybe more. But let me turn off my do not disturb or turn it on. But you're not sure if you're ready. So let's just dive in. Say hi if you're here. Let's see. Okay, cool. We have a couple people on. So you can see my dogs in the background as usual. Of course, it wouldn't be a live stream without them doing something back there. Okay, so raising your rates to 10K, it's scary. And if you're watching this, you've probably thought about doing it, right? So the real reason, we're just gonna get to the point, right? I'm gonna tell you exactly why you're not doing it, and I'm gonna call you out a little bit. The real reason that you haven't already raised your rates to 10K or whatever you want to raise them to is because you're afraid that if you do, no one else will sign up with you and you will fail. You're afraid nobody's possibly going to pay you 10K or whatever it is. And if nobody does and you raise your rates to that, either you're never going to make money again, you're never going to sign more clients, or you're going to have to decrease your price and look crazy, right? Look just very, very crazy. Look like you don't know what you're doing. Look like you failed. Everyone's going to know, right? That's really why. What you're saying is you don't know if you're ready to raise your rates. You're not sure if you're ready. You're not sure if you should wait a little bit longer. You're not sure if it should be now or 3 months from now. You know you want to. You know you probably will, but you just don't know if you're ready. That's like, hey, Rosella, that's kind of maybe true. I mean, I'm sure you don't know if you're ready, right? But the thing is, and I've been saying this constantly, and I'm not going to stop saying it because it's the truth. Hey, Mackie. It's the truth. Nothing, no one, nothing comes down from the heavens and tells you that you're ready to charge 10K for your program, that you're good enough, that people are going to pay it. Nothing does that for you. In fact, the only thing that does that for you, hey, Nikki, the only thing that does that for you is you and the desire that you have to charge 10K, right? If you are thinking about charging 10K, if it's crossed your mind, you are ready for it. Now, if what's crossing your mind is, oh my God, $10,000, who would pay that? Who has that much money? I can't believe coaches charge 10K. You're not ready. you're not. And I used to think that too, right? I used to have those exact thoughts. But if you are thinking, am I ready to charge 10K? Would people pay me 10K? Like, can I do that? Am I ready? You are. Because that's really the shift. That's the difference. There's who's going to pay that? Who in their right mind actually charges that versus, am I ready to do that? Can I do that? When should I do that? Am I ready? You're ready. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds bizarre. And before we move forward, this isn't in my notes, but I want to talk about this. So thank you for the faces. But now, as soon as I said that, there's like an angry face. No angry faces. No, just kidding. The thing is that one reason why we get so caught up in like, oh my God, 10K is because we feel guilty charging that much. We feel like, why would I even need to charge that? That's crazy, right? But the thing is, and if you can't comprehend it, right? We've already said, if you cannot comprehend it, you're not ready. You're just not. So you can leave the video. You don't even have to watch. But if part of you kind of wants to do it, or part of you sees yourself doing that in the future, there's still going to be part of you, I'm sure, that feels guilty for charging 10K. And the way I think of it, and I think this is true, I'm sure the angry face was a mistake. No, and I think it's a glitch too. I think for some people, when they click it, it puts all the faces up on the on my side, because I've seen some people saying, oh my God, I'm getting angry faces, and nobody else sees it. But anyway, the thing is, when you raise your rates, and you've probably heard me say this before, but you haven't thought about it in 10K, when you raise your rates, you are creating so much space in your life, more space at least, right, depending on what you're raising it to. Just think about it this way. We're going to get to the point. I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this to make sense to everybody. But when you raise your rates, why do you do it? It's not because, you know what, I am worth another $1,000 a month. I'm worth another $1,000 every 4 months. It's because you're like, I can't do this anymore without charging more. I have to create more money in my life. I have to create more space for my clients. My clients have to be paying me more for me to give them the attention that I want without taking on more clients. It's always out of goodness. It's hardly ever, I mean, it's never been for me. It's never been for any of my clients. You know what? I'm just going to charge more because I can. There's always a really good reason behind it. And the same thing is with 10K, right? So if you only want to take on 4 or 5 clients, which is totally reasonable, but you are charging $1,000 a month, you're capped out at $4,000 or $5,000, which is fine if you're doing group programs and stuff. But if you're charging that, you're probably not. Whereas if you charge people $3,000 a month and you had 4 or 5 clients, what would that be? 15, 12? That puts you at such a great space. If you were making 5 figures a month cash and you had 5 clients, think about how minimal stress you would have on those sessions. Think about how available you would be for them. If you've ever been annoyed by your clients, if you've ever not wanted to get on the call because you feel so busy and tired, if you've ever looked at your calendar and been like, because of client sessions, you have to raise your rates, because you cannot, that's actually the greedy and just icky. I don't know if greedy is the right word, but that's the icky. I don't ever say icky, so bear with me here, but that is icky. If you keep running your business that way. We're almost all going to go through it at one point. So I don't hear a lot of people talking about this, but I will. We've almost all been through it, and I have, where a client has sent you a message and you're like, oh my God, leave me alone. Or you've looked at your calendar for the day and you're like, I do not want to get on these calls. It's because you're not charging enough, or you don't love what you do. But if you didn't love what you do, you want to be on this live stream. I mean, I highly doubt it. If you don't love what you do and you don't like coaching, just get off the live stream. But I don't think anybody in that position would. But do you guys get what I mean? You know, I was talking to a client today, and she was talking about how different it would feel coaching her clients if she had $20,000 in her bank account, and how different her content would be, because she'd be so much more centered. She'd be so much less stressed. And she actually has this happening right now, which is really cool. She's going to have that much money in her bank account like this week. But people think they're not deserving, or that it's not like, if you want to manifest $20,000, it's not enough to just want the money. But it is. For me, one of the biggest things that I've manifested, and I haven't talked about this much, so maybe I will. It still feels kind of awkward for me to talk about, so I'll share it a little bit here. But one of the biggest things I've manifested isn't, oh, let me make 10K to buy this, this, and this. I hardly ever do that. I have actually consistently manifested a growing bank account. I hardly ever create a purpose for my money. And I know some people teach that's the only way to do it. I know some people teach that's a great way to do it, and I think it is. But for me, there's a shit ton of stuff I want to buy, yeah. But I like to buy, I don't know about you, but I like to buy stuff in the moment. So I want to go, like we just did, we went furniture shopping, and then we passed a Best Buy, and we've been wanting to buy a new speaker for our TV, like a really nice one. I don't really care about that, but Frankie likes that, right? And I wanted him to get rid of his really old, bulky ones that also the dogs have peed on before. Anyway, so obviously not very high vibe, right? Anyway, we randomly passed a Best Buy. We were just driving past it. I knew we were going to buy this, but I didn't think, okay, $1,500 or $2,000 or how $1,000, $100 is going towards this sound bar at the end of the month if I manifest what I want. I didn't do it that way. I've been consistently manifesting money for my bank account, more just money in my life, because then we randomly drove by Best Buy. We had no clue it was there. We're in a totally new town. We knew nothing that we were going to drive by. We drove by Best Buy, and I was like, we were actually going to Walmart, another very high vibe idea. So we drove by Best Buy, and I was like, do you just want to go in? And so we had to turn around, U-turn it. And he's like, I don't know, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, no, let's just go in and just look around. Then we had the most helpful guy ever helping us look around. And he showed us an amazing sound bar, like Frankie loved it. And then I just bought it. And it was so fun and awesome. And I don't like to plan that kind of stuff. For you, it might work. For me, it doesn't. For a lot of you, it doesn't. So that whole like giving money a purpose really frustrates. That's what it did to me. I would plan out every dollar of my money, and I would just be frustrated because I saw it all leaving. Or I tried planning all this money going into savings and debt, and that wasn't exciting. I don't really move money into savings or plan out how much I'm going to pay for debt. I just manifest more money because I want as much money as I could ever possibly need. That feels really exciting. So if I want to donate $2,000 this month to some random thing that happens, I can just do that. I don't have to plan it. And then if I want to donate $0 next month and I want to spend a shit ton on myself, cool. Like, I don't like planning it. So anyway, it's kind of a different topic, but I want you to know that it's not greedy to want more money. The other thing is that I was back to the whole story. My client was saying how when she has this money in her bank account, she's just saying, I know it's going to feel so much better to be sharing my content. I'm going to feel so much more abundant and in a good place, even if I'm not spending it lavishly on all these things, or even if I don't really have a purpose for it other than it to be the cushion in my bank account. There's no wrong thing with keeping $5,000 in your bank account all the time, $20,000, $100,000, $300,000. It's fine. And what I responded to her with was like, you're so right. You know, what's so cool is when something's not selling in my business, which yes, that still happens sometimes. It's not selling, or I feel stuck, or the calls aren't coming in, or, you know, something's off, right? It happens. I don't feel like, shit, this has got to sell. This has got to sell. I'm freaking out. I haven't gone to a coach and said that in like probably a year. Oh my God, I'm freaking out. It's not working. It's not selling. I need the money. I don't have because if something is like not selling as fast, and I'm not saying this to brag, I'm saying this to give you perspective on setting this as an intention if it feels good to you. This is a whole nother topic that I was planning on talking about, but it's okay. Meant to happen, obviously. I don't have those freakouts because instead it's like, I have money in my bank account. I don't have to make money for months. Months and months and months could go by with me making $0. I'm totally fine. Totally 100% fine. I don't want that to happen, but it's okay. And it's really funny how much easier it is to manifest things when that's not the case, right? Yay, Alicia. So you'll probably want to rewatch this. It's really good. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but it feels so much better to have money. And I think you guys can agree. And if you're not in that situation, it's okay. You can get there. You're allowed to manifest simply that, right? We weren't planning on talking about this at all. We weren't planning on talking about manifesting anything. But that's for raising, like, here's what it goes back to. It goes back to, wouldn't you be able to be so much more available, flexible, excited? So if your client did have a freak out and you wanted to hop on the phone with them 10 minutes randomly when they had no scheduled call, you wouldn't be like, oh my God, how come nobody respects my boundaries? I don't have time for this. I need to make more money. I'm so stressed. You wouldn't be on your session thinking about your bill that just got emailed to you or mailed to you. You would be like, sure, let's jump on the phone. You would be offering it. Let's jump on the phone for 10 minutes. You would be sitting for way too long on Voxer with your clients. Like today, I'm like, all I want to do is just sit and watch my Voxer app and talk to my clients because I don't have to make money today. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to tell you guys about booking a call with me today, but if you don't, that's fine. And because it's fine, people probably will. It's just a really good feeling. And so not a lot of people talk about that. Not a lot of people talk about money in their bank account. I think I do want to talk about what I've been able to manifest as far as that goes. It's kind of weird because people they talk about how much they make, but they don't talk about how much like money they have sitting around. It's a really weird topic, but maybe we'll do something on that. I don't know. It feels weird, but it feels good too. So, but that was one of my focuses. When I moved into my last house, and then we're going to move on. When I moved into my old house, our last house that we rented, the first time I went and paid the rent, it was the first time I ever paid a real rent. And I went to the bank and I paid it, and we had to pay it the old-fashioned way. So Frankie would take out his $700 something, and then I'd go take out mine. So I'd go to the ATM and I'd see my balance. And I remember the first time I did it, I was like, shit, things have got to start working. That was January 2016. I had been trying for like 3 months to get a client. I was like, shit, things have got to start working. I told him I could do this. He can't afford it. He didn't even want to do this. It's all my fault. And then the next time I went, my bank balance was not that much, maybe had 1,000 or 2 more. I was like, oh my God, this is the most money I've ever had in my bank account. And then I started saying this affirmation every time I drive to the bank, of every time I take, and afterwards too, because it was real, it was happening. Every time I go to the bank to pay my rent, I have more money in my account than I've ever had. And that became true for 2 years. So it was just amazing. And that's how I know you're allowed to just manifest more money and you don't have to have a real purpose. That good-hearted purpose that's not selfish or greedy will come. We're going to do a whole live stream on this for sure because I think this is very flowing. Oh, thank you, Alicia. So back to signing clients at 10K. That's why it's important though, because you don't want to be stressed on your client calls. You don't want to be stressed with your clients. You don't want to sign a new client today and then go, okay, on to the next one. You want to be able to think, like the last 3 clients I've signed, I've been able to spend days just thinking about how excited I was. Like, and over-deliver to them really quickly and set up all their stuff. And I'm even doing stuff that my assistant should do because I just don't, like, I'm not stressed about making more money or signing more clients. I'm still doing it. I still want to. I have a goal, but it's so cool. So raise your rates simply because of that, even if it's not 10K. But the real point of this is to tell you, you are watching this because you're ready to charge 10K for your program. And it's really freaking scary, but there's so many benefits of it, right? So I'm going to tell you the steps to do it. Danielle, yay. Okay, the steps. Step number 1 to charge 10K. Figure out why you're afraid to charge 10K. I already did that step for you. You're afraid to charge 10K because you're afraid that if you do it, nobody is ever going to buy from you again. Nobody's going to sign up and you will fail. Or even worse, you'll have to go back on your price, decrease it again, and everybody's going to know it didn't sell, and everybody's going to know you're not a good coach, and everybody knows that you weren't worth it, and yada, yada, yada. That's what you're afraid of. Been there? All of my clients go through it. That's what they all say. I know I want to charge 10K. I know I'm worth it, is what they say. But what if I do it and nobody pays it? Nobody can do it. Like, nobody books any more calls. Don't you remember your first client and that's what you were afraid of? When we decided to start coaching, I know because it just makes sense. When I did it, Rosella, we'll talk about that. When I did it, first started coaching, I didn't know if anybody would ever buy the package. You know, I was like, I don't know, like, and it was scary. And I remember thinking, I don't know if anybody's ever going to sign up to be a client of mine. I don't know if I'm meant to be a coach. I don't know if this is ever going to work. I don't know if I'm ever going to make money again. And then the big fear was I might have to go back to VA work and everybody's going to know I wasn't good enough to be a coach. Everybody's going to know it didn't work out. It's going to be so embarrassing. Or I'm going to totally fail in my business and I'm just going to go get a job and hide out. We all were there, right? So get into what you're afraid of. I've already told you there might be some other fears there, but this is the big one I always hear. Rosella said, my fear there is about getting reported. Who are you afraid to be reported to? Tell me more. I want to know, because this might speak to some other people. I was never afraid of that. So what are you afraid of being reported, like reported for fraud? I don't know. It is silly though, right? I don't care what you're afraid of being reported about. It's definitely silly. And it's funny how I've been doing a lot of limiting belief stuff for myself today. In my journal today, I wrote all of my bullshit beliefs. That's what I wrote on the top of the page. And then I wrote all the bullshit beliefs. And I have some clients that I've been working through with that. Ooh, the IRS or whatever, because 10K is the amount that I think the bank transactions are reported. So are you saying that you actually think that's true or not? Here's the thing, Rosella, and anybody who's afraid of taxes or IRS. So I remember this as a kid because my dad was a business owner of like, they're going to report us and we're going to have to do this big tax audit and the government's against us. And, you know, I guess that could happen. It could be pretty shitty. It could be, I've been through audits, not for my business, but I've seen my family go through that. But they've never really got in trouble. You know, the thing is, and this is why it's so important, I have an accountant I pay for monthly and a bookkeeper. And my accountant is actually also kind of a coach, a financial coach to me. And we do coaching sessions. I don't know if she actually calls them coaching sessions, but I consider them coaching sessions. And I know I'm doing everything that I can right, as much as we know. I know I have somebody who's so good at this industry, who has been doing accounting for so long, who is totally taking care of me. And I didn't start doing that for a while. My whole 2016, I didn't have an accountant. I hired someone to do my taxes at the very end of the year. I would always suggest that. And then going into 2017 in January, I hired an accountant because I knew I was going to have the big launches. I knew I was going to be signing 10K clients. All of that was happening in January. So I got an accountant. All you have to do, Rosella, is be smart, right? Because the IRS does suck, in my opinion. I was going to say not in my experience, but the IRS constantly sends me bills. This is what happened in 1 month. I got a bill for $8,000. That wasn't right. And so I ignored it. My accountant just said ignore it because it happens. Thank God I have an accountant or else I would have paid it. Oh my God. The next week I got a check for $8,000. And I was like, oh yes, I knew this would work out in my favor. And she goes, it's wrong. Don't cash it. I'm like, oh. So I got an unexpected check in the mail, but I wasn't allowed to use it. And then the next week I got a bill for $12 and she said that was the right one. And I'm like, okay, I guess I can afford that. But my point is, it's just really great to have someone like that. And all you can do is be smart. None of us here are bad people. You're fine. It's silly. But I was worried about that too, I guess, but I wasn't going to let it hold me back, so I got help, right? And you don't have to have help all year long. It helps me because I'm making multiple 5 figures a month, and it would cost me a lot if I had someone organize all that at the end of the year. But in 2016, that's what I did. I had someone do all my bookkeeping last minute and someone do my taxes, and we were all good, no issue. Yeah, it's fine. And that's the other thing too. So let's go into this, even though I wasn't planning on it, but I think this is such smart stuff to talk about. Worst thing that ever happened to me because I started charging 10K, the horror story of charging 10K that pissed me off and stressed me out that I can now laugh about was the day that I think this was my second 10K in full. I had 2 clients pay me 10K in full in a row in 1 month. It was like, what the hell? How did this happen? Maybe it was within 2 months. I don't know. But client's card wouldn't go through on Stripe. I was thinking, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. It was actually a guy. He's going to be on to me. He's going to know that he's only my X number of client in this program. He's going to think I've never, and I already did have clients in this program, but I was like, he's going to think I've never taken a 10K payment. He's not going to trust me anymore. This is the only male client I've ever taken on. And, but I'm just being honest, because if I tried to say she, it would be a lie and it would be awkward. But sometimes I felt tempted to. Anyway, that happened. So anyway, I didn't want to tell him anything. So I blamed it on him. And I was just like, let's just do PayPal, right? And it went through $10,000 in full on PayPal. And I was so excited. I was dancing around my house. I was so excited. It was such a fun program. And And it was so exciting and whatever. Then, not too long later, PayPal puts a hold on my account for $8,800 and something. And on top of that, they were going to, that hold was for 6 months. They were just going to hold that money for 6 months no matter what. On top of that, they were holding 15% of every single transaction I took through PayPal for 6 months. No, maybe that was for 3 months, 3 to 6 months. It doesn't even matter. I was so pissed. I was so freaked because I just counted all that income. Like, do you know what I mean? I was like, I thought I had $10,000 cash. It was bizarre. And I had to keep coaching this client, even though I was basically not paid, right? And I had to keep coaching all my other clients. And I was stressed out. But I remember thinking, and I've had other shit happen on PayPal too, so don't get me started. But I remember thinking, I'm so grateful that that wasn't the only $10,000 I had. I'm so grateful I have money in my account. I'm so grateful that that $10,000 doesn't even matter. And my financial situation was way different. Like it wasn't even as great, you know, as it is now. That was very new when I was first kind of feeling like I was taking off. But yeah, I just remember being grateful for it, even though it was still stressful because I didn't have that much money sitting around. Like I may be making it sound. I made it sound that way to myself, right? Of like, I'm so grateful I don't even need that money. I'm so grateful it doesn't matter. I'm so grateful I have money in my account. And I even was so grateful that this would get figured out, even though everybody was saying it would not. I harassed PayPal. Oh, Rosella, you will like this one. If you're afraid of the IRS and things like that, I actually told the Bureau of Financials of the United States or something like some big company. I Googled it and I actually told them that PayPal was fraudulent and stole money out of my account. I told the BB&B that PayPal was fraudulent and stole money out of my account. I left reviews everywhere. A lot of people said this was a bad use of my energy. It wasn't good, but I was pissed. And then I get a call one night at 10 p.m. from PayPal. And this is what the internet said would happen. The internet said they would call me and they would apologize. So I'm like, oh yeah, I was in bed. I'm like, this is it. I even told my boyfriend, he was right there next to me. I'm like, I'm so excited. This is PayPal. Of course, I had PayPal's number saved, right? I answer it. And I was like, this is so-and-so from PayPal. You know, we saw that you submitted these things to the blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I did. I'm really not happy about this. He apologized and apologized. And then you know what he said? We're not doing anything about it. This was like 2 months later. I thought I had won. They're like, we're not doing anything about it. I was so annoyed. It like broke my heart. I was crying afterwards. I was texting Holly, my biz bestie. I was just like, I was so excited because when I saw that pop up on my phone, I'm like, this is it. Anyway, after that, I got another call and they did give it back. It sat in there for like 3 to 4 months at least. That's the worst thing that happened for me charging 10K. Here's the thing though. Shit happens and things like that happen and you can try to avoid it and it very well may happen to you, but it's only another reason. Thank God I was charging 10K because I had a client paying me $3,000 payments every month. I had another client who had just paid in full right before that, straight to my bank account with no issues. So I had money in there and coming in. So thank God I was charging 10K because could you imagine if I had that client pay me in full and I 10K and secretly as I was coaching him, I couldn't even pay my bills and I was stressed about money. Meanwhile, I'm telling him I'm going to help him make 5-figure months. Could you like that is actually what would suck. And that's what can go wrong in some coaching relationships is secretly the coach is stressed. Secretly the coach is feeling like she's failing. And moments like that will happen. Really tough financial moments will happen and it doesn't make you a fraud or anything like that, but you do have to take responsibility to create that space, to create that freedom. And that's why you should be charging 10K. That's why you should be charging at least what you want to charge. Because you're doing your clients a favor. Because what's funny is then your clients, if they found out, they would be so confused on why you just weren't charging more and making more money. Right? They'd be like, how is she broke? Like why doesn't she change something? Like that's how I think of it. you're doing your client a favor by doing it, and you're doing yourself a huge favor, and you deserve to do favors for yourself instead of doing everyone else favors, which I know you're doing. Because everybody I talk to who's going through this is over delivering to their clients, is, you know, saying stuff to their friends and family just to make them happy. All of that. Hey, Robin, so what do you suggest to get over the fear of charging higher? Just dive in and own it. Okay, so these are the steps. We got a little distracted, but these are the steps. 1, figure out what you're afraid of, which we already did. 2, this is the fun part, change it on your site, change it on your call form, change it everywhere, and just do it. That's step number 2. There's more steps, but that's step number 2, because yes, Robin and anybody else who's thinking this, because I know everyone else wanted to ask that question, you just have to do it. Again, I don't know who, if you're here late or not, but what I said at the beginning is nobody, no thing is coming down from the heavens and telling you that you're worthy of it, telling you that everything's going to be okay, telling you that you can charge 10K, telling you when your next client's going to come in. Like, that just doesn't happen. And even if it did, because I guess maybe a psychic could tell you that, you're still going to be skeptical, and you know it. You know what I mean? Like, come on, you're still going to be skeptical. So you just have to trust that there's a reason you want to do it. You have to connect to why you're doing it and why it's a really good thing. And you have to do it. And the worst case is that nobody buys it and that you have to go back on your price. But you know what? It's never going to happen if you don't try. And I've never seen any of my clients, or really anybody, but mostly my clients because they're the ones I pay attention to, increase their price to 10K and not sign a client within 2 weeks. Like, it always, always, always happens that way. If they actually do it and they're not like changing it or freaking out or not posting about it suddenly or whatever, right? If they just do it and own it, it works out. I've never seen it not work out. I've seen it not work out when, and this is a whole nother topic as well, but we'll go for it. When I've seen my clients and other people not sign clients, it's been when they go with that price that feels safe, that feels doable, that feels like it's, you know, because others can afford it. They go with a price they don't want to do, and suddenly all the sales halt. And that's probably what has happened to some of you guys. Your sales halt. Things are going really slow. You're getting a lot of objections. It's seriously because you're not doing what you want to do. Because I think I just talked about this in another live stream. If you're not doing one piece of what you want to do, you are saying you can't have what you want, and therefore none of the things you want are going to work out. So if you're saying, oh, I want 5 clients and I want to charge 10K, but instead I'm going to charge 5K, guess what? You're saying I can't charge 5K, I can't have what I want, so therefore you can't have the 5 clients either. You might get 1 or 2 or 3, but you're not going to get 5, and you very well may get 0. Just as all the other things in your life are going to be going wrong. Like, your parents are going to be assholes to you, your relationship's going to suck, like, you're not going to be able to lose the weight, or you're going to be gaining weight. Like, that's literally how it happens. And some things may be slightly working out, but what's interesting is I've never seen everything work out except one tiny thing. So you've got to get into alignment with that. You have to just charge what you want to charge, or you really are screwing yourself over in all areas. Does it sound woo? Does it sound crazy? But yes, but it's true. Even me saying it, I'm like, oh my God, this sounds so crazy, because I can't believe that it's true, but it is. I've worked with over, I want to get clear on this number, but at least 200 people, 200 women entrepreneurs as private clients, as group program clients in my courses. And I know this is a fact because I've seen with all of them it to be true. So when people ask me, oh, do any of your clients not get results? Does this always work? What's the success rate? Which I hardly ever get asked anymore. But yeah, I see people not get results all the time. But I know exactly why it is. And if you're resistant to the real answer and you're not willing to take it, you're probably going to be that person. I'm sorry, but it's true. Well, everything is going right, but I do need to sign more clients, and I do want to go up on prices. Yeah, Melissa, and it may not make, we'll talk about this, but it may not make complete sense. You may not be sure people are going to sign on, but if you really want to, and part of you, your real self knows you're worth it, which you are. You're worth more than you're charging. We've already talked about that. The only part of you that's not going to be sure is the fearful part, which isn't even you, right? You know this. So this may be hard for some of you to comprehend. It may make perfect sense to some of you, but I urge you to take it to heart because I know it's true. And I still think it's crazy. I feel a little bit crazy saying it. Okay, so step 1, figure out what you're afraid of. Step 2, change it on your site, your form, etc. Step 3, okay, remind yourself daily why you are a badass. So, right, whatever it takes. For me in the past, I've had, instead of a vision board, I had a board of all the testimonials I was getting, whether they were from someone in my free Facebook group or a client. I had them all visually, like right here in front of my computer where I could see them. How I do it now, because I've changed a little bit in my program, I'm stepping up with a higher level client, I have a document that has my process in it. And you do not need this to, don't let this distract you. I don't have all my calls planned out. I have a process though, right? So I have all the things that I work on with my clients, all the really important steps, why they're important, the transformations they'll see. When I look at that document, I am like so excited. And I can't help but literally feel like a total badass, because I am. But when I'm thinking, oh my God, I need more clients. Oh my God, this client said this, or oh my gosh, this potential client said this, or whatever, I'm feeling like, am I good enough? Am I worth it? Or is anyone else ever going to sign up? But when I look at that document, I'm like, shit, this program is freaking amazing. And that's how I literally feel like that looking at it. So I have, anytime I'm not feeling like that, I have to look at it. Hey, Audrey. Audrey and I have been talking a lot about like feeling your energy shift, and that's one thing that does it for me. That's another big thing with the way that I manifest, as we're talking about, which isn't the topic of this, but we talked about it a little bit, is I find nothing really manifests for me unless I already feel it. So I have to do things like my clients know I say stuff out loud to myself a lot. I have to say stuff to feel it. I feel it in my stomach, in my gut. I feel happy or tingly or excited or free. Like those are the feelings I can feel in my body. If that's not actually happening, it doesn't manifest in, right? Yeah, it is really powerful. And so you have to find whether it's getting that documented and reading over it. Also, when I was newer, a coach taught me this, but she taught it more as a strategic way to have copy pre-written versus a way to shift your energy. She had us write out 50 things that we help our clients with and why those things are beneficial. I've had a lot of my clients do this. And I saved that on my desktop. And yes, I would use that in posts. I was like, you should book a call with me because we're going to go over all these epic things. Super easy, copy and paste it right in. But also because when I read that, I was like, oh yeah, this program is badass. This program is awesome. If I felt it in my body, how awesome the program was. And you got to figure out something like that to remind yourself every day why you're a badass, why you're good at what you do, why people need to be signing up with you right now. Step number 4. This is the last step. Simple. Do some posts. This is all it takes. Do some posts, do some live streams, do whatever type of content you feel called to do, and speak directly to your people who want results and who are ready now. So you know your process, possibly everyone knows part of it. You know the benefits of working with you, especially if you've documented, like we slightly talked about. But now you want to speak to those people who want that. And here's the big piece. I had a conversation with a client about this today. And who are ready for the results, right? Because one big issue is sometimes we accidentally talk to people who are just in the victim mode, just in the struggle, and aren't ready. You have to shift to talking to the person who's been struggling, who has the problems, who wants the results, but is also ready. You've all been there. Anybody who on this call who's ever invested in themselves, like me, you know something switches. So for me, I've had a coach every single day of my coaching business. I've never gone a day without one. So for me, but I've usually, because of that, it's not like I'm like, okay, I'm going to start with you the day that this coach ends. I've never, ever done that, ever. Just so you guys know, don't do that. It's kind of annoying and it's not beneficial to you, and it will make your potential clients do that to you. I've never done that. I've never requested a start date that works for me. I start immediately, or I start when works for them. I just get started. But the thing is, though, that I want to say is that I still go through that where I start seeing a coach and I'm like, I need to work with her. I want to work with her. She's my next step. I feel that, but it's still scary. So it's not like I get that feeling and I reach out immediately, although I probably should. It takes time, right? So you start seeing someone's content, or you start seeing something you know you need to do. And I forget where I'm going with this, but I'll finish the story anyway. you know you need to do it, you know it's the next step, but you're just not going to reach out yet. There's still that doubt, that fear, whatever, but then something shifts. Oh, I remember where I'm going with this. Then something shifts, and then you book the call, you message her, you pay, right? It's a shift. So you want to talk to people who are having that shift, who are like, I'm just ready to do it. I don't have excuses. I have bullshit excuses that I'm done with. Like, that's who you want to talk to. And then they will invest. They will sign up. You can't force anybody to be ready. So that's my other little tip, is if you want someone to pay you 10K, you're ready to raise your rates to that or whatever, you can change the number out, okay? But speak to the person who is ready for the results right now. Whereas if you got on that sales call, she would pay on the call and she would start her first session right there on the phone with you. That's who you want to be speaking to, right? Because that's who we want to manifest in. And therefore, I will add, that's the kind of potential client that we want to be, even though it's scary, right? That's the great thing about being someone who does that is, gosh, there's always flies in my house, in my office. Okay, that's the thing that feels so good on a sales call is I can tell people that I just did this today. I expect people to pay the day that we have our call. I know that's terrifying, but I've always done that. I've never, well, let me think about this. Nope. I've paid every single time I've had a sales call with somebody, I've paid that day. So I expect that and I can say that. So maybe that's step number 5 is making the same empowered decisions that you want your clients to make, right? And that could be anything. It's not even anything, it's everything. That's how you hire the coach. That's when you pay the coach. That's the excuses you give the coach. That's that's how long it takes you to do the scary action. That's how long it takes you to raise your price, especially if you want to be a business coach or a business coach, whatever we want to call it. If you want your clients to raise their prices quickly and get the big results, then raise your prices quickly and get the big results, right? It's everything that you do is what you're attracting in. So that's the last thing I want to say about this is like, what empowered decisions are you not making that you expect your clients to make? And it may be the way that you pay your coach, that you haven't booked your call yet with the coach you know you want to work with, whatever. But it also may be the way that you're thinking and acting and speaking and the action that you take and the excuses that you give in your daily life, right? And it goes into all areas. It's your business, yes, and it's not the biggest piece, it's a big piece. But what I'm realizing is it's the same way you treat other things. So for me, investing has been terrifying, yes, but it's naturally made sense to me. The first day I talked to a coach, I was like, I want someone to hire me as their coach, so why am I going to bullshit this coach around and make her wait, right? And so anyway, but what I realized too that wasn't so common sense was it goes into the other areas of your life. It goes into how you're acting in your relationship, the conversations you're having with the person you're with, how happy you are in that relationship. It goes into your health. This is a big one for me. I want my clients to take action that feels aligned, but that might feel scary, that might feel, I don't know if hard's the right word, but they don't know if it's going to work. It feels scary. They've tried stuff like it before, right? And they want big results. I want big results in my health and my fitness and my body. And I constantly have these excuses that were like, everybody in my family struggles with this. I'm never not going to struggle with it. It's so hard. It makes people uncomfortable if I eat too healthy. I don't want to miss out on opportunities. I don't want to be so sucked into my health. Like I had all these excuses, right? Now, and this is crazy to say, but now in the last few months, I make automatic empowered decisions around food, automatic empowered decisions around working out, and I hire people to help me in that area. And it's hard sometimes and it's scary sometimes, but it actually hasn't been hard, which is interesting and was a realization I had today. Even my detox, some of you guys, this is more of my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram so you can keep up with my personal life. But same thing with my detox I did a 21-day detox, and it was actually easy. It was so weird. Like all I ate was fruits and vegetables, and it was so easy. I was like, eating fruits and vegetables all day is easy, and I feel great. And it's so easy to only cook with fruits and vegetables. Who would have knew? Who would have thought? And it hasn't even been hard, but it was scary, and it made me take the decision and commit, and I had to invest in something to commit, and I had to do it quickly, right? So I was like the first person in my little mastermind group that did it, to sign up for the detox and get all the stuff ready, and I even started a day earlier than everyone. Like, that's how I want my clients to act. I want them to sign up before they need to. I want them to pay early. I want them to do all the action. I want them to do everything that's scary. Therefore, I have to act like that in all areas of my life. My clients, like all humans, will never be perfect, and they will struggle, and sometimes things will be hard and take time to actually put into place, just like it will be for me. So I also have grace for myself. But if you want to charge 10K, you do have to step up. And it was easier when I only charged 3K, yeah, but not really. But it was easier because I didn't have to be empowered. I didn't have to be 100% me. I got to hide 90% of who I was, and I got to make really unempowered decisions and move really slow with things and stay really safe, and that was awesome. But as I've increased my rates, it's only gotten easier to sign clients, but only because my actions have also matched, right? So just some things to keep in mind when you're doing this. I promise it works. It's all worked for me. It's all worked for my clients. It's just fact. I don't know why I'm doing this. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Is anybody still here? Audrey, I'm so glad that you're here. I know that you might want to rewatch it because I think you would love the beginning of this video. And Danielle, I'm glad that you're here. And obviously Rosella. And everybody. And Melissa. And everybody. But if I say everybody's name, I'm just going to sound crazy. Cool. I feel like I need to leave PayPal now also. I actually still take PayPal every month for clients. Like, some of my clients are on here right now like, oh my God, Taylor, why are you billing me on PayPal? I had to create. The other thing is that PayPal actually called me and promised me that this would never happen to me again, and they would never put a hold on my account again, and that I was treated really poorly by their support, and yeah. So I'm fine with it. But just be careful. I think don't let it scare you though. So I actually split my payments between Stripe and PayPal fairly evenly. I went ahead and created a product on my Squarespace site with a 10K price tag. Rosella, you're amazing. I love that. All really good points, great encouragement. Thanks, Robin. While we were talking. Yeah, I have no words for you in a good way. Cool. Okay. So really quickly, guys, I want to wrap up and just let you know that there's one more spot one-on-one with me at the current pricing. So it's going to go quick. I already have people that want it. If you book your call today, we might still be able to make it happen, but there's only one more spot. Today's probably the last day I'll be talking about it. At this price, I have a number that came to me today, and it's really cool. And I'm excited for it. I'll share maybe a bit with that. You'll see. But it's going to go up after one more person. That's the last spot that I have for this price. It's going to be freaking epic. So we talked about a lot today, right? And what I hope this live stream does for you is pushes you, like it did for Rosella, to actually take the action, raise your price, or do anything that we talked about today. And I really hope, too, that oh, you are so welcome. That's amazing. I hope it pushes you like it just did for her, that you raise your price, that you do whatever you need to do. And I really hope more than anything, this goes into it, that you start thinking about this empowered decision idea. It's been obviously empowering for me, really empowering for me. And it just makes sense. And one of my goals for this year was to be fully expressed and to be me. And it's one of the hardest things I've ever done, way harder than my business. And that means I have to make empowered, fast decisions and trust my intuition and trust myself. And I think if you guys start doing that, you're going to have huge shifts. But it means it's hard because it means anything that your gut is screaming yes to, you must do. So I hope you do that. But anyway, like I was saying, we've talked a lot about here. We talked about raising your prices. We talked about being empowered. We talked about how to raise your prices, which I know is kind of silly, but it's true. It's actually what you need to do and it will work. But here's where I go deeper with my clients, just so you can get some more information on the one-on-one, decide if it's what you need. It probably is, but here's where we go deeper. We're actually looking at your copy and looking at what you need to say to support people in investing in you, to support them in booking the call. Basically, how to write really great copy that converts high-end clients. Showing you exactly where you need to be posting online, where you need to be putting out your content to find the clients that, this is actually kind of what I wrote is kind of funny because it's not really true. What I said was, I'm going to show you where people who are ready to invest are hiding. They're not hiding, so that's why it's not true. But I am going to be showing you exactly where to post. This sounds pretty basic, but it's going deeper. It's like how to actually make your content convert way better than it has been. So you can go from somewhere between 5 and 10K months to 20 and above, right? It's so freaking easy to double your income when you're at that point by using some of this. So that's another point of it. But we're also going to be talking about how to get people on the phone who are ready to say yes now, who are ready to pay today. Also what we do, which is really cool, really unique, is it might not sound unique, but it is, dissecting your programs, because what I believe is there are mindset blocks, but usually the biggest blocks are the actions that we are or are not taking. And two big areas that shows up in your marketing is the programs you're launching. You're actually blocking yourself from making sales because there's something in the program that's not aligned with you. So I can literally look at your program and pretty much instantly tell you what that is for you as an individual. And in your strategy that you're executing on. So I can also tell you that. What are you doing in your strategies that you shouldn't be doing, and what are you not doing that you should be doing? And as a result of this is doubling your income or more, working less, working half as much. My goal is to get you to be doing strategies that take you no time at all, that are so freaking easy, that are fun, that are inspired, that make you the most money, but are still really strategic and predictable as well, right? Because that's what I'm all about. But that's what I'm actually looking at and telling you, and that's a little bit about knowing you. It's about being intuitive. It's about, it's just that gut feeling, and it's right. It's always right. So when you're doing a program like this, the reason it's a higher price point, the reason why it's going to be different than what you've done before is because I'm literally telling you, anybody who's been on the phone with me can tell you this. I can tell you exactly what content you need to put out this week. I can tell you exactly where you need to put it. Other things I'm looking at are just strategy ideas. What's wrong with your program and why you're blocking sales from coming in, the strategy that you need to be using and don't need to be using, and then also helping you do things like raise your rates to where you want them to be, doing group programs, having that passive income, all that really cool strategic stuff that like frees your life up. That's what we're doing. This program is not for everyone. You're going to see that on the form. It's just going to filter you out on its own. There's an application. So let me put the link in here so you guys can just check it out. So, if you go to this link, taylormanningcreative.com/unlock, if it's speaking to you, if you're ready to go to, this is going to scare some of you. So here's how you know if it's for you or not. And I'll tell you if it's not. I don't get on the phone with somebody who's not going to get results in it. But if I say these next things and you are excited and ready and a little terrified, it's for you. If I say these things and you're like, who could possibly do that? That's insane. And you're just terrified and really turned off, it's not for you. So if you are ready in the next 4 months to take your business to 20K months and to have a 50 to 100K group program, then you should fill out the application. Okay? That's your sign. That's trust your gut feeling. Fill it out. Don't. It's okay. But regardless, I'm really excited that you guys were here. I think this was really epic. This went all sorts of directions I didn't plan on, but it was really fun. And it gave me lots of ideas for what to talk about in the future too. So anyway, let's see if I missed any comments. We have been hiding is the thing. Yeah. I was hiding a lot. I don't think I am anymore, but there's always things you're going to find that you're hiding, you're playing small, you're not making empowered decisions. And if you need to have a talk with Jax and I, we'll get you out of it. We'll get you in shape. He's so cute. Okay, anyway, guys, fill out the application if it's speaking to you. Don't if it's not. Thank you guys for being here, and let me know if you have any comments or if you want to reach out about anything that we talked about today. Go for it. All right, bye, everybody.